yourself 3 minutes.
Roll something out on it, like,
If anybody needs an agenda, there are copies behind.
what do you mean it won't?
Is he still in Florida?
I don't know.
I think he is.
He told me on the phone there. Something like, it sounded like he wasn't in school.
Wait, are we talking, who are you talking about?
Who?
Oh. You said Dave, I thought we were talking about Dave Weimer.
Oh, yeah, but he's
Never
in
mind.
Alabama.
Okay.
They just left Alabama. Talladega, yeah.
Okay.
Patriotic ice cream.
I like it.
Travis been there for his pictures.
We're not ready to report to the public yet. Next week.
Travis up all that, he bought. Right there.
Yeah, I don't mind you.
I just seen one like yours, down there in 43,000 miles. What's your?
2017, but is it 24,000 miles? They bought it at the, like 0% interest in it. I think we have a plan for softball school research, by the way.
You do. Did you talk to Matt? Okay.
Got the polls. Weimer donated those. And then I think he has All right, 4 p.m. This meeting of Mayor and Council is called to order.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for being here today. We'll move on right into the agenda. Item 2A on the agenda, ordinance 2026-01. This is artisan/small scale manufacturing. You?
Yeah, I have the red line copy here. Per request of the mayor and council, we've removed all references to residential. It's only for commercial. Taking it out of special exception for commercial and making it allowable. The residential has been completely removed. I believe Patrick has the actual document up there. I have the red line one, but that's the one Michael did, so
Okay.
everything's been removed.
Quick question. In the text of the ordinance, and I probably just don't understand how this works. Under section R2, it says A with an asterisk. What does that mean?
Is it still on that one, Patrick?
Yeah.
We'll have to check that, Todd, because I don't think it's supposed to be in there.
Okay,
That might be a typo from Michael.
okay.
No, wouldn't be the first.
That's why I'm
That very well could be a typo from Michael.
Yeah, we don't want to pass it with that in there. My
No,
bad.
we'll get it cleaned up.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for noticing that.
All right, Patrick, somebody asked.
The other two have asterisks too. I think it's R2 and R2A is all. I think that's just a different zoning district.
Oh, so it just, that box is
Because it's like that on that too, so it might
Yeah.
have just condensed in
Oh,
there.
I see. So that box just isn't, I got you. Okay,
That makes sense.
We'll pull it up on a bigger scale and just double check it.
that's fine.
And then, so down here is the actual usage, so there's none listed under the
There's none
manufacturer,
listed under,
but under the commercial is the permitted.
Okay,
That's what he stands for.
okay.
Just as a heads up, because this was tabled, and we were bringing it back on, and it wasn't just amended at the public hearing, we did set the next meeting as another public hearing, just so that the community would know we were changing it, and it didn't look like we were trying to push something through. So we will technically do a public hearing, although I don't think there'll be much to say about it since we reduced it. So.
got it.
Yeah.
And there has been some email correspondence on it.
I was gonna say, somebody asked for a red line.
Jamie,
copy.
did you
Yeah,
send it out?
because we hadn't,
Yeah.
we hadn't posted the amended version yet, we
Got
just
it.
wanted to make sure that residential was actually being taken.
Got it, okay. All right, anything else on that?
No.
All right, next item is ordinance 26-02. This is the smoke alarm ordinance. Who's first? Chief.
Obviously, I asked the question last time whether we were strengthening or weakening the current. We met with Mr. Hovatter and Mr. Miller, and obviously we are reducing the standard, it appears. My question is, why was it put in back in, I think it was 2012 or 13, and why are we taking it out now?
14, I believe. was-
14, okay, somewhere.
My opinion is, because I'm probably the one here that was back.
It's probably still there.
I think it was never meant to be there to begin. I think it was something that was in the old ordinance that never got taken out by accident. Because we had intended to go with what the
IPMC.
IPMC code back then. That's what the big change was at the time, to go with whatever IPMC. And I think it's just something that just got left in there.
Well,
It's
and
2012.
to,
Okay.
going back to when Jay brought this to our attention back
Right.
in August or whatever it wasn't something that was being properly enforced anyway, because when we were using third-party building inspectors, the way that they read the ordinance and interpreted it, that we were following the IPMC. This wasn't something that was in the IPMC. So
But it was in your guys'
it was in our
policy.
code, but it was
Okay.
not in the IPMC. So it was ignored, for lack of a better word, ignored by third-party inspectors for however long we did that, 10, 12 years. When we brought it back in-house, Jay read the ordinance and read the whatever, and all of a sudden, all of these rental properties were not passing their inspections whenever they had been passing them before. And I'm not excusing that. That is obviously the fault of the third-party inspectors and city staff for allowing that to happen for all those
Right.
years. But the bottom line is 75 to 80% of the rentals in town are being told that this has been good enough for the last 12 years. We didn't change our rules, but we're telling you it's not good enough now.
Well, you are changing the rules. 'cause
We
you
are now,
passed it-
but we are now. But what my point was, in July, when we brought the inspections in-house, we hadn't changed the rule at that point. So we're saying, okay, it's the same rule that it was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. But now
But it was, you guys have written it, that it was supposed to be something else, just because the third-party people weren't enforcing it.
right.
So basically, we're reducing the protection for the people that rent, live, the firefighters that show up, everybody, because we all know early detection is a lot better and safer for everybody. And like I said, if you guys are lowering it, it's putting a big liability on you guys. And you guys can, I mean, that's the main reason I'm here. I want it on the record that you guys have decided to reduce the smoke detector ordinance in the city of Frostburg because all of a sudden you guys realized that what you had approved at one point isn't what you intended or whatever. I have no idea.
So
But-
we're reducing it on paper, but not in action.
Yeah, you
Because
are.
no, not in action,
Okay.
because the standard that was being enforced before is the same standard that this ordinance is.
But you guys, you're allowed to create a stricter enforcement, and that's what you guys did. Now you're going back, just because it says that's what the code you reformed, but you guys put something on record for the city of Frostburg to adhere to, and you can make the rules more stringent than what the others by your local authority. You already have the jurisdiction. But now you guys are going backwards, and like I said, you can sit here and defend it, but some good lawyer is gonna have a field day when they ask why you guys went backwards instead of staying status quo.
I will concede to you that we are technically lowering the standard, but I think that we are lowering it to what is a nationally and even internationally accepted standard that is used by counties and municipal governments all across the United States. So I think that it's what we've been assuming was the rule anyway.
I just think you're doing a huge disservice to the people that rent, obviously the firefighters, everybody that shows up on the calls, because the longer a fire gets to burn before it gets detected and people are alerted, we all know a fire doubles in size every minute. Just go on YouTube, watch a video of how quick a room goes up. You're talking 3 or 4 minutes and it's flashed over and spreading everywhere. I mean, it's a huge safety issue for everybody. I knew this is what it was going to be, but I just want to be on record that I think you guys are doing a huge disservice. And I'm going to use the same statement I did at the sprinkler thing. We'll make sure tonight at the Frostburg Fire Department meeting, I'm gonna bring up that anybody that's on the mayor and council at this time, city administrator, any staff, that if a firefighter gets killed or a civilian gets killed, we're gonna make sure you guys get a postcard. And I don't care if it's 20 years from now, 15 years, we're gonna find you and send it to you, because this is putting our lives in jeopardy and everybody in the Frostburg area, so.
So one thing I do want to clarify, at the start of looking at this ordinance, the intention was not to, we weren't going there specifically to change anything with the actual smoke detectors. It was with how we decide where the smoke detectors should be. So the issue is the standard aside, what it was based off of firewalls. And we talked to Jay about how he would inspect that there is a firewall, because in the ordinance we currently have, you wouldn't need interconnected smoke detectors if there was a firewall between two apartments. And what we really started having the conversation was in order to inspect a firewall, you really have to be inside the wall. Because if at any point somebody put a hole through it or anything like that, it means the firewall doesn't really work anymore.
I guarantee you 90% of them in this town don't exist, because
And
because of when these buildings were built and they went through, electric was added, plumbing was added, after a lot of these buildings were ever even built. So I can guarantee you 90% of the firewalls are jeopardized, and that's a no-brainer.
And so what it came down to was there's really no way for us to verify that. So using that as the concept was, not ideal. So we talked about getting rid of Jay being able to inspect whether or not there's a firewall. The issue being is at that point, for those that did truly have a firewall and could prove it and sunk the money into it, we would have, if we just kept it as everybody has the same interconnected smoke detector no matter what, we'd be forcing them to get smoke detectors and interconnect their buildings after they sunk the money into it. And that's where the conflict came into. And not knowing which direction to go, I think it made more sense to go to the IPMC, which is why I decided. But our intention was we never looked at it and said, you know what, we should have less smoke detectors. That wasn't the.
Well, it's not the amount, it's the interconnectability, because, I mean,
Oh, the other problem was also that when a fire alarm goes off, the smoke detector goes off in one apartment, because they're always cooking or whatever, and it rings in everybody else's, people then disconnect them. And that is a safety issue.
I'm not arguing that. I've been to fatal fires in Cumberland where nobody even evacuated a high-rise building and people were dying in it, and they never left. And that's just a fact of life. People are not gonna adhere to them, but at least they have that opportunity. You're taking that opportunity away from them to even consider to evacuate or not. I mean, there's so many houses in this town that have been chopped up that were huge houses that, you ride Oak Eyrie Street and there's a house sitting there that has no front doors. You can see where they've been boarded up. The entrances are now on the side of the building. So, you stick a firefighter in there, it's a whole different ballgame. We're used to going in the front door, you usually find the living room, the kitchens in the back. Now we're crawling in, we don't even know where anything is in these buildings because of the way they've been chopped up, and they're a nightmare. There's stairways in these apartment buildings are blocked off because they put an apartment upstairs and downstairs and you can't have access. So when we start climbing up the steps, we think we're getting to the second floor. Next thing you know, there's a piece of plywood. We can't even get through to get to the victims. So there's a lot involved in when you're not having that early detection. And like I said, if it's a nuisance alarm, guess what? They can be dealt with by the property owner, and actually the state fire marshal, after so many times, they can come in and cite, and I think the city has the same thing. I don't know if you guys can cite I know we've called the fire marshal at the college before because we were running so many over there that we actually had to get the fire marshal's office involved so they would fix their systems. So there is other ways to get around just because it goes off and it's a nuisance. I'd rather be alerted and make sure there is nothing going on than just, I'm going to ignore it or don't even get notified. I mean, to be honest with you, when I go to a motel, I count how many doors it is to the emergency stairwell. Because if it's 3 in the morning and that place is full of smoke and I know it's 3 doors down on the left, I know that's my way out. And I guess being a firefighter, I think different than a lot of people, but I just think we're creating a huge potential problem.
I mean, we appreciate your
Yeah.
candor and your advice, and we invited you here to give us
Yeah.
your expert opinion, so we certainly appreciate that.
And one thing about the UL related thing, the day we went to Mr. Hofair and Mr. Miller, he'd already found one. He thought it was a speaker, and here it was a smoke detector that was from who knows where. It had no notification, no UL registered, nothing. So they're right there already. So I'm glad we at least caught that.
Yeah.
But
Were we able to, did we get that language worked in there?
So we haven't changed anything yet, because you all have to take
Okay,
action.
okay.
But the IFC version that it referred to requires UL, correct?
Yes.
So
But it doesn't state that.
it wasn't specifically listed in there, but because it does say that it follows the IFC, technically it would require a
Okay.
UL, but we'll put the actual language in there so everybody knows.
Okay.
Better to be redundant.
Yeah, repetitive is what it is. Confused. So.
well, go to my next two meetings.
Do we,
Well,
one more quick thing.
sorry,
We're
the
on
Knox
Knox
box.
Oh, the Knox box.
So, do we, so we need to make that amendment.
So at the next meeting,
We'll do that
we
next.
can take it off the table and you all could amend it however you want to.
Got it.
And then we would,
Schedule the
schedule.
final reading, public hearing for April.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, in that case, we will keep talking about it and we'll figure out, I guess, what we're gonna make our, if we're gonna amend it or what we're gonna do at the real council meeting next week. And then we'll, okay.
I'll be in Florida. I won't be here.
I'll send it to you. I'll call you, or when you get back, I won't call you.
I know.
Well, and we'll have a whole other month till it's voted on.
No, that's fine.
Speaking of Knox boxes,
Yes,
do I just call out, I want to make sure that the right key is in.
you can just call me. I've got the Knox box in my chief's vehicle that I can
Okay.
unlock, and we can then make sure what's correct. Yep.
All
no
right.
problem.
Without objection, we're gonna move item 3I up to the next part of the agenda, the Knox box policy, while Chief is here to talk about it.
That's all good.
Just real quick, talking with the fire department, we have a list of several properties that already have Knox boxes, but we don't have no policy in place for new ones coming aboard and so forth. We're gonna propose, after we review it a little bit more in discussion, all new construction of commercial multifamily structures require them. Building permit is obtained for renovation of existing commercial building or multi-unit apartment of 2 or more units or change of use, which I think the change of use is huge. If it's changing over, it's a good time to go ahead and throw it on there. If there's alarm calls when property representatives cannot be contacted or refuses to respond, they will document it, report it to us. We'll require them to get one so we can access the property. As we know, we have several vacant properties that could become, and the police can, this is actually something for the police too.
Wonderful.
EMS, it all can be beneficial. There's also, I typed in there, a residential Knox box is available also. Highly recommended for emergencies where family members live alone. They're very inexpensive for fire and EMS and police to gain access to your residence for an emergency. Something I use as an example, if somebody, just for examples, over at Donnie's place cleaning, I think Donnie has them. You have the Knox box, but if they're over there cleaning, it don't necessarily have to be a fire. If they have a medical emergency, you know, you can pop that open instead of ripping the $1,000 door off. It's much easier, so.
We're proposing, we're gonna
We're
turn this
gonna
into
work
an
on that. I
ordinance.
just wanted to bring it up that
Okay.
we was headed that way, yes.
And I'm sure they explained, but how the Knox box works, we got to punch a code into our vehicle, and we tell the county we got our Knox box released. That way it's tracked the whole time. So, I mean, we've got them for banks, we've got them for everything, so it's
Just
very
about any
secure.
commercial
Yeah,
building,
almost every
The
commercial in
schools.
the counties now, yeah, the
All the
schools
schools.
have them, so.
Where do you get the Knox boxes? Or do
Oh,
you
you've
get
got
them off
to, you got to buy them, I think it's just the one company, it's Knox Box.
Yeah, we
is
have a
the-
flyer upstairs that
Yeah. it's a gift.
provides them, and then we'll get the keys put in.
And then what we're gonna talk about is where we want them installed,
Yeah.
make sure they're accessible, because some people put them everywhere, so it's a big time saving, and we do a lot less damage when we have that access. We can get into a building a lot quicker than forcing a commercial door, which we're gonna do several thousands of dollars worth of damage, so.
Yeah, we're gonna add a little bit to that, clean it up just a little bit. We just wanna make you aware that it's on the horizon. We're looking at it. Like, as far as things, just, we gotta get a hold of the fire department when you're gonna mount it, so it's in the proper place and mounted properly with all the correct keys and so forth and
Yes.
so on. So there's
And
nothing
this will
worse
be required?
on those, anything new construction, commercial construction.
Commercial.
Yeah, multifamily.
It follows the same concept as IBMC does with a lot of things, new construction or major renovations or changes of use.
We would like everybody to get them, but that's the easiest way to move forward.
So like an individual homeowner can buy a Knox
Yes.
box and
Yep.
then register it
Yes.
with the
Yep.
fire
Yep,
department?
and then we'll come, and we're the only people that have the key to them, because they've got to actually call us, we got to unlock the box, put their key in, lock it back up, and then we've got access. And the good thing about it, the whole county fire department uses it, so if we're on a call someplace else, and say Mount Savage is up here, they can access the boxes as well, so it's a county-wide system.
And it's tracked too, so anytime,
Yeah.
even when the fire department goes to access it, or the county Department of Emergency Services knows they're doing it.
Yeah,
So the
911
fireman doesn't
center
just
is
have a key
tracked.
on their chain. They-
Now, will that work with the police department too?
I don't know if the police department can have them or not.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Because
just
we
fire
were
and
just
EMS,
talking
yeah.
about that, and it would be a good idea.
Right, and
That you could go into these places and be able to get in, because we've
When you
had,
do a well check or something.
yeah, we've had calls before
Yeah.
where a domestic,
Yeah.
and we couldn't get in.
right, and that's something we'd have to reach out to Roger Bennett and see
Yeah.
if that's a
I don't see
possibility.
why
So,
it'd be a problem.
yeah, I mean, you guys are trustworthy as us, if not more. So I mean, it should
I
be.
don't see where it'd be a problem.
Problem,
We
yeah.
could reach out to Roger and
And
move
see if
to
we could
something
do
like
that,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even if it was just your in-charge
Yeah.
vehicle, because I know the machine
Jeez,
itself for
they are expensive.
the
Yeah,
vehicle are expensive because it has a radio signal.
Yeah,
So
Right.
maybe you could put in like 2 or 3 in-charge vehicles
Yeah.
or whatever.
put it in the supervisor's
Budget
vehicles.
vehicle, that way
Yeah.
it's always gonna be on the
Yeah.
road during the shift.
It's a really neat tool. I promise. It's
Yeah. So, but no, that's great. Anything that makes us quicker to get in is great. So nothing else.
Okay.
I'm going to my next.
Thank you, Chief. We'll appreciate your
I'll send
time.
that over to you when we get it
Okay. Yeah.
drafted up
No,
for
sounds
when we
good.
actually do it. So
All right.
All right, appreciate your time, Chief.
Yep.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right.
So because it's an emergency, it's like you wouldn't need a warrant.
Yeah,
So there's certain circumstances that you're allowed to use it, but you can't use it
oh, yeah.
like for, okay.
yep.
For the police force, there'd be a very strict line of what it can't be used for, I'm sure.
Well checks, alarm going off at a bank,
Yeah.
different things,
Mhm.
burglar
Active,
alarms.
active shooter,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
All right, getting back to the agenda then, we're on item 2C, an appointment to the Housing Authority Board.
So, just to let you know, the Housing Authority is requesting, that, Daniel Crump, be added to the board. I think it's an outstanding choice, but, if there's no, objections or concerns, I'll make sure we put a resolution together for that.
It's nice to see him get so involved in the city,
Yeah, oh, I couldn't agree more. He's a great guy.
yeah.
And on the same note, for the next item.
Yep.
Reappointing a board member to, BOZA, which is, Ms. Davis.
Okay. So she's coming on as is remaining an alternate member, coming on as a full member.
Remaining alternate.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, okay. All right, item 2E, VFD funding contract.
Yeah, so we partnered with Shelby Edison through Empower Maryland, which is basically their group, to incentivize energy reduction programs for the VFD work at Pine Ridge that we've talked about at different state PACE projects. And because the VFDs have a payback period and they would make us use less energy, Empower and Shelby Edison likes that because they want to send more power to other places. So to incentivize that, we showed them this project, and they're willing to chip in about $26,000 for that. I can't just accept it because it is a contract, and it's a, hey, the only way you get this $26,000 is if you pay the rest and you actually do the work. So we have to bring it to you guys and make sure you're okay with that. Remember, this is the money that we asked State of Maryland for, both with the governor's office and at PACE. This is a part of that water resiliency project. just want to bring it to you guys.
So they're putting up to 26 and we're on the hook for the difference?
Correct.
What's the difference?
So Stevens had it at about $111,000 to $114,000. So it would just be the remainder between,
90 something, 80
Yeah.
something.
which we're hoping to be able to pay for with either Rural Maryland Council or Governor more money. And then
Annual
Since
energy
it's in the
savings.
water thing, can we use money from the tree stuff that we did?
yes,
Okay.
we're trying to get it with grants first.
Yeah.
Then if we have to
Okay.
close a gap, we'll close a gap with tree money. Yep. So
With an annual energy savings of 66,000, that's, I mean,
Yeah, that's.
payback's really
That's nothing to
soon.
sneeze at.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything else on that?
So just as a note, about 20,000 of that money is kind of just guaranteed based off the contract. 6,000 of it is an add-on, because we send staff to the Empower Summit, which is in there.
Oh, okay, that's what
So if
that
we
is.
don't send them to that summit, we don't get $6,000. just as a heads up.
Which either I or Emily has done for the past 2 years. It's a one-day thing in Hagerstown. So.
You can hear Staff Frederick. something like that.
That costs $6,000.
No.
No.
As soon as we send it
Oh,
around,
I'm
give
sorry,
them-
I'm
give
sorry.
us a bonus,
That's the- I see.
It's actually-
towards our project.
It's actually free to go to. It's
Okay.
just like travel costs.
I see.
And it's a day. We don't even get a hotel. So
Okay.
for the cost of gas, we get that.
Okay.
that credit.
$6,000.
Yeah.
yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if it was $6,000 to go down.
Jim and Emily can't make it. Something
Jesus
to
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a worthwhile one to
Sure.
travel to.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that? Okay, now a change order for like $8 or something.
Yeah, for 10A. This one, Lydia can expand on it if she wants to. This is just a cleaning up X's and O's one for how many? Do you remember how many dollars? Is it like $15?
$42.75. It's an increase, but I don't think it's an increase. It's just the overruns of CSO Phase 10A, and it will be paid for with American Rescue Plan money.
Just to get that project closed out, and so our auditors don't, because that would just show up on an audit and see something wrong. So we just want to get it cleaned up.
Okay.
Cool.
Easy. FY26 budget amendments.
I don't remember what I put in the package. Oh, the summary, good. Yes, good. So what I've done is I went through most line items and made adjustments that I know about. Either they've already occurred or we know they're coming down the pike. The main things that we changed, as far as revenues go, we adjusted real estate taxes to agree with what we billed. Hotel motel tax, we bumped up a little bit to be consistent with prior years. We're already over what we budgeted by about $3,000, and that's only through February, so we still have 4 months to come in. Highway use tax, there's a little bump there, $19,000. I got a letter from MDOT saying that would be more. And then we added the $39,000 we got in Rocky Gap funds for the Armory fire alarms, and the money we got for the Sowers concession stand that was destroyed by the tree. So that ends up, both of those don't really add to the bottom line because we had to pay that money back out, but it, we need to show it. And then as far as expenses, main things are we adjusted salaries to agree with all the staffing changes that we've had in the past 8 months. So each department's line item, you'll see what the changes were. I also made some adjustments to health insurance. It wasn't really a net overall change, just reallocating between departments. Now that it's self-funded and we pay out claims, that's hard to predict which department's going to have what expenses. The only other big things, I think that might be all, actually.
Actually, while we're talking about insurance, it could potentially have an effect on the budget as well. I've been following up with Legit on the Victoria Lane, Bernard Street flooded basement and making forward progress on potentially getting some of that back. So,
They're saying they may cover part of it now?
yeah, I just have to put together a bunch of reports for them.
Okay. That'd be great.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up. It is at least moving forward. So,
Cool.
I guess the only other things for sewer operating expense, the Hill Street School project, we have agreed to a $25,000 reimbursement to Evergreen Associates for their sidewalk project. So that's been added. And then we took out the ash dumpster out of the garbage fund. And that's pretty much the highlights. Obviously, take a close look at it if you can, and we'll propose an order or a resolution next week. I'd be happy to entertain any questions, although I know you probably haven't had a huge chance to look through it.
Okay, yeah, we'll look through this, and anybody
Yep,
has any
just-
questions, get in touch with you.
Yep, phone, email, doesn't matter.
You're not done. FY
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
'27
know.
draft budget.
Does that mean when I am done, I'm like done? Okay. The draft budget, and I apologize in advance, I'm not as prepared as I had hoped. It's been a day. So the draft budget, I know you haven't had a chance to look at because we didn't send it out till nearly 4 o'clock, and I do apologize. So what I've done is, again, things that we know are coming down the pike, I made, appropriate adjustments for. Otherwise, everybody pretty much kept a lot of their line items the same or bumped them up a little bit to account for inflation. Salaries are based on our current staffing plus 2 additional police officers to fulfill those 2 spots. What else? The contributions to tourism under expenses are based on the requests that we received, assuming we pay all those out. And I picked up the expenses first, but my revenues. One of the major differences for revenue is project reimbursements. Projects that ended in fiscal '26 won't be repeated in fiscal '27, so there are some adjustments there that makes the revenue a little bit less. The real estate tax revenue is based on the new assessment, which went up, I didn't print that out, I think it went up $20 million. So that's why the real estate tax revenue has gone up $160,000. Other than that, it is very much in the beginning stages. So obviously any questions you have, anything that you'd like to see us add or take away. I know Hayden's going to talk about the fleet lease, which is in there. And that's a significant change to prior years. But other than that, I intend to go back through everything again. So if something does change, I will send you a revised copy. But otherwise, if you have any questions. I know it's a lot to take in.
So right now, under this draft, you don't have any projected use of fund balance from the revenue?
No,
Okay.
there will be, but I
Yeah.
didn't put it in yet.
Okay.
Where it stands right now, it would be about the same as the budgeted amount for FY '26, which was about $400,000, just between different funds.
Do you know approximately what the balance in that fund is right now? What we have to take from? If not, it's okay.
I do not.
Okay.
I will find out.
Okay, that's fine.
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you wrong.
No, I don't want that either. That's fine.
And in terms of fleet lease, I just wanted to get everyone's opinion on it and kind of go over it as a group. This is the first year where we are officially up for the first round of leases to renew. At inception of the fleet lease program, it was, we're going to go towards a whole fleet lease for the city as opposed to owning all these vehicles, so that we don't get stuck 20 years down the road with dilapidated equipment. Now we are officially to the time where our first set of leases is up, and that means we can either replace those leases with new leases by trading in the old ones and cashing in on the equity, or renew those leases and hold on to them, or look at adjusting, going with the shorter lease, X, Y, and Z. What is in there now is based on if we replace the ones that were up for lease, and stuck with kind of what we've done as the status quo. The ones that are 5 years old, we'll sell those back to enterprise, use that money to put down on the replacement vehicles. And then the additions, so of course, we're trying to cycle out the old vehicles. The police department still has several old ones. There are replacements in there for the old vehicles we still own in the police department with new fleet leases. It's gonna look a little confusing because there are currently 4 police fleet vehicles that are up for renewal. Their lease is up. And then there are 3 in there that are 3 police interceptors that we currently own that have like 175,000 miles that we would look to ultimately replace with new leases. So it's going to look like 7 potentially new police vehicles. And then of course there's the option to keep the old ones that we own, do some mix in between, keep the leases that we already have and renew them for shorter leases or longer leases. I just want to open it up to everybody so that if you review it, get into the weeds of it, and you have questions for me, or for the police department, we can sit down and talk. We don't have to do it now, but
Just specific to what you said about 4 and having 3 old ones, do we want to think about staggering those so that we don't have 4 this year, 4, 4, 4, 7, 4, 4, 4, 4, maybe just add 1 this year and
So-
1 more next year?
My question is, once you get them all leased, you're gonna have the same payment all the time, no matter what, no matter when they're renewed, really.
That's true.
yeah.
Okay.
And Beeman and I talked about it because Beeman kind of oversees the fleet for the police department, because I don't understand police stuff. So, the thought process was we could even potentially, say we have those 3 old ones that we own, replace one of them this year, and maybe even keep all 3 old ones. Because what we're going to get out of them selling them is going to be $2,000.
Yeah.
Just keep them, give those to the newest officers as their potential take-home vehicle,
And
or look at a blend of the 2.
if they're extra right now, if the vehicle goes down for any reason, there's a backup that we have,
Yeah.
things like that. So.
But just stuff to think about. Of course, Kevin, if you want to get with Nick about it, go over your stuff. And then Adam and I, and Nina, one was a water department truck, and then the rest on the street department stuff. So
And as far as the police department numbers go, that fleet lease has doubled. If you look at the prior year and the current year budget, or the 27 budget, the amount doubles because it's those 7 vehicles, and we're adding the 3. So.
One of the
Think
things,
about easing into that.
one of the things we'll have to look at too with the police vehicles specifically is that they need to be fitted to be police vehicles.
yeah,
And for the so far, all the vehicles that we put on lease, we had grant funds to do that. So the lease is just for the vehicle, not necessarily for all the price. And that price can range, depending on the type of vehicle, from, I think it's like $15,000 to $40,000. So when we switch one over, we have to be diligent about that and understand how we go with that. We're
Yeah.
not paying by month for that cost.
yeah. And there's some options to look into too. Will Enterprise let us take the equipment out of the old leases to put into the new one if there's compatibility?
Or
There's options.
are they selling them as police vehicles and we're actually getting money back for that equipment and those sorts of things?
Yeah.
Well, if it's equipment that we have put in at our own expense, then
Yep.
if they want to keep it, then they owe us.
Correct.
But we would be selling the vehicle back to them
Yeah,
in that fashion.
we could sell it as is
As
and
is,
get
yeah.
potentially more for it, or
Right.
take our equipment back out, get less for it, but keep the equipment.
Yeah, I think even if we get 8,000 more out of the vehicle, that's not going to recoup the minimum 15 or 20 that we're going to have to put into putting new stuff. So I think we probably just keep the equipment.
Exactly.
I would think. I mean, we can look at make
Yeah.
sure, but
If it can be used in other vehicles.
Yeah.
Which most of it should be compatible. There's a couple weird things like the metal grates in between passenger and passenger and rear
Yeah, it
that
can be
might
different
not be
sizes.
compatible, but some of it should still work. So, but I'll have more updates for you as time goes on.
all right. Fee schedules. 2I. Proposed 27 fee schedules.
Oh, so we have one other thing under budget, which is hotel motel.
Oh yes, sorry.
Just because that's a new part of it. So, you all have been given the packets that were submitted. I did not print full packets, because it's just a waste of paper. It's a lot of paper. So this is the summary of what was requested. I do have 2 or 3 packets of just applications floating around, the physical copies if anybody needs to see it. I didn't know how Mayor and Council wanted to go about this. If you all want to have a discussion now to start to decide what should be funded, if you want to talk about it at the next work session, because we do have time until this needs to be officially passed, if you need additional information.
Did they all submit, I mean most of them, from years past, I know what they use it for, but did like the new requests submit what they would be using the money for or anything?
Yeah.
Like, for example, Appalachian Lab,
Yeah.
they have a pretty extensive 4-page letter in here.
So some of them are pretty specific about what the money goes towards, like they'll tell you, you know, how many, you know, shelves are gonna buy, like, and things like that. Some of it does, you know, they're asking for $1,000 towards operating costs for X, Y, Z, so it's a little more vague.
Yeah, and like I told you guys in the email, like, in the past, this has always been tourism money coming in. The intent has always been to reinvest it into activities that contribute to the tourism industry. And just need to be careful that, you know, we're just not giving it to people to run their business, I guess. You know, with our-
I think more and more people are turning to this because their other sources of funding are drying up,
No,
which, yeah, I don't blame them. Times are tough.
Now, that is a good point, Commissioner Carter. That's something that we need to remember. That's where this money came from. It came from people
Yeah.
no.
from out of town paying the tax money into the hotel, so it needs to, I think that's
Yeah.
good to remember.
And then, you know, we have to, a lot of it is interpretation too. Does the library serve tourism? Well, they do put on programs that it can attract people from out of town. Is that tourism? I don't know, it's bringing people to town, so. Summer lunchbox though, I mean, that just serves people in town. But it's a really good program, it's a really needed program.
That's the thing, that's the problem. A lot of them are good programs, but it's
I
like, you
know.
what do we, yeah. What do we want?
Do we have, so the total request for FY27, that number is obviously listed on here. Do we have a projection? Maybe I should go back
It's
to the budget.
150,000 according
Yeah,
to
so-
the,
For projected revenue,
yeah.
Projected, so I would,
155 is what I projected.
155?
so
But
I wouldn't necessarily, say that we have enough money for all of it, because we normally wanna come up a little short, in case
Sure.
we come up short. So-
Sure.
Well, and we also always put some into Parks and Rec. I think some of it goes to Brian for some stuff.
But once we find out if it's left over, I think
Yeah.
we've utilized that in the past when we realized it's extra.
Did we already, for the current year, we talked about using some leftover hotel motel money to put towards the 250.
10,000 was put towards that.
We already did
Yes,
that? We
it's
already
been
approved that?
allocated.
Okay. Okay. So,
So last year, we were aiming for about 120, I think was the goal. Now, I think we had less, actually applications than 120. But so out of the 155, I'd say maybe no more than 125, 130. Until we know more, we can always come back and potentially,
okay.
I think that's been about the number for.
about 120, 125, yeah, that's what I think. That way, if for some reason the money doesn't come in, we're not pulling it from somewhere else.
I wanted to add for the dog park, they sent a letter not requesting money last year, but historically have funded
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, they contacted us, Becky Rappan contacted us last year and said they hadn't actually finished the project from the previous year's money, so they were gonna take a year off.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
That's noble. Right, that's what I said.
And one of the, just as a heads up, one of the, items, if it says no amount listed on the right column, it's because they asked for support but didn't put a number, so I either put in the number they requested last year, for most of those, and there's some of them I actually reached out to see, if they were asking for a specific amount, so. Especially if they were new.
All right, how do we want to do this? Do we want to go line by line? Do we want to just take it into consideration and we can send comments to Patrick? How do we want to do
No, we can always go through it and see which ones really do contribute back to the city.
it? Okay,
Check those first, you know, and then go through the rest of them.
okay.
And if there's anyone you wanna have come in and present or something at the council meeting or at work session or something, we can always do that as well. We can always request that. Or if you need more information before you make a decision.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt to have, at least, if we set a threshold, a dollar amount, maybe, like anybody that's requested more than 10,000, maybe we should have either a presentation or a sit-down meeting with Patrick and at least one of us to talk about it in greater detail. I don't think that would hurt anything.
That's what, 2 of them.
3. I think the museum has 10, Frostburg First 30, Scenic Railroad 20.
I think you said more than 10,000, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So are there any that you're sure, based off of what they did, that are just kind of given that they should be funded at the level that they're at, or?
I would say the majority. of them
Yeah,
are
yeah, it looks like the
fall in that
majority
category.
then.
We want to go down, let's just go line by line. We'll just do that.
Even if it's a absolutely or not
Yeah.
sure yet.
So let's say Arts Council, 2,500. Good with that one?
So are we talking about amount or just, yes, they contribute to bringing people to town?
Your choice. I mean,
Okay, we
let's-
might as well, while we're at it, let's just talk about the amount,
Okay.
unless we decide to.
I mean,
go back and
2,500
change
is what they asked for last year. So we're looking at Arts Council, kind of glancing down through what they say here. They talk about programs they put on. They do something at FSU. They contribute to cultural events series. I mean, they do stuff that's countywide. It's not just in Frostburg, but it is, some of it's in
it. And they
Frostburg.
contribute to the Arts Walk, right?
Yes, they do help with
So,
the Arts Walk
which-
too.
Which does bring people to town, so, yeah.
All right. Anything else on that one? Okay. Allegheny Museum and Thrasher Carriage Museum.
Is it still open?
I've never been by there and seen it open, to be honest.
I
And I'm by there once a day.
I think I can't answer that question. I don't know.
That's been a question in the past too. It's not like, I'm not just bringing it up.
No, no,
What
I-
did they use? Did they submit a letter?
Oh, yeah, everybody has a.
So-
application
Probably
that-
from John
So-
Kirby, isn't it?
And it should be in alphabetical order.
No, he's
That's
with the
Frostburg.
Frostburg Museum.
This is Allegheny Museum. Well, Allegheny Museum is in Cumberland, so
Right,
that's,
yeah.
we don't whatever with that. But the Thrasher Museum, that's down at the depot,
It's never open.
and it's they depend on volunteers. They're only open if they're open. They're open when the train's there.
I think we need a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe we
information
ask
on
them. We ask them for more information. Ask,
So, question mark.
yeah, ask for info. Appalachian Lab. This is a new request for 3,000. They have a pretty long letter that's in here. Description of organization, activities. Part of its commitment to public education. Appalachian Lab hosts the Watershed Moments Community Learning Series. Hosts 2 to 3 events per year featuring films, lectures, book readings, etc., etc.
Well, they do bring people to town.
As a
And they
result-
house them in local venues, local hotels.
Does it say that?
Yeah, we, under projected
Oh, I see,
Watershed
I see,
Moments,
I
yeah.
see, yeah.
House guests at either the Allegheny Trail House or Hampton Inn,
Okay.
so.
Thoughts on that? Okay. That one's good.
The person who founded the Merlin Bird app, which not a lot of people know about, but is a
Oh,
pretty,
it's a
it's a
great.
pretty widely known app.
Yeah.
Did the work at the Appalachian Lab.
Oh, cool.
Or some of the work at the Appalachian.
Which app is that?
Merlin Bird.
Yeah, that's like the preeminent one.
Yeah, if you're a bird watcher, that's the.
That's
we're
the
not
one.
a huge community.
That's
okay?
the one. That's the one.
All right.
Just for instance.
Next one is Frostburg Aryan Band.
Okay.
Just for
We can't do anything to
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I can't do anything about that.
Not that we want.
Let's see. Boy Scout Troop. Scouting America aims to beneficially involve every eligible child, etc., etc. Troop 24 is chartered by American Legion, asking for an appropriation from the hotel motel tax for $4,500 to be used for community soil and water conservation projects. On a few outdoor activities in Frostburg, our scouts have observed areas of soil erosion caused by rainwater runoff and wind-moving soil particles, etc., etc. So this is for a specific project.
I don't know if 4,500 is a good number for that.
I don't know what project that is.
Right.
That might be something you could get grant money for something.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If that doesn't exactly meet the criteria that we laid out of
Yeah.
tourism, but it sounds worthwhile.
It
so
does,
maybe
yeah.
we can work with them to either find a grant or find a way that we can help with the work that they're doing some other way.
So do like a redirect.
Yeah, redirect, that's a good word.
We actually partner extremely well with the Boy Scouts. They do usually one big project for us for a year as an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah.
And we've been able to get POS money either through Garrett County or Allegheny County to always pay for it.
Well, maybe that's the answer to this then.
Yeah.
They take that on.
You said there's a Eagle Scout that's gonna be doing something down deep this year, correct?
Yeah, there's one happening at Depot and there's one happening at Piney this year. So.
And then one at the,
That's like an observation deck at Pine.
they're doing one at the Edible Arboretum too. They're still working on
Yeah, yeah,
Got
the-
the Eagle Scouts this year.
planning out.
All right, next is Children's Literature Center and Storybook Holiday. That kind of an easy one.
yep.
Right. Classy Chassis, I think that's another easy one. That's
Yeah.
a very modest request as far as the rest of them go. Derby Day, again, I think that's super easy. Full disclosure, Patrick, I think I told you, I didn't tell everybody, they were technically late submitting their letter, the Derby Day people, but that's because the letter was hand delivered to me and I forgot to bring it in. So they technically weren't late. Just me being careless. All right, next, FEPA. So this is requesting $2,500 to assist with the maintenance of the large banner to hang over the entrance of the town by Somerset Bank. We
The
made,
poles are there.
the poles are there. Did we
Yes.
not already make an appropriation for that? I thought we did this last year.
I feel like we've had this conversation every year.
We awarded them $2,500 last year to make the banner that'll
Uh-huh.
go there. I'm not sure on the status of what the poles
They're-
look like are they good condition?
They're fine.
Yeah.
So this year they want to paint the poles, this is probably one of the only ones that they want to make a 250 banner,
Uh-huh.
temporarily like mesh, paint the poles, and then the cost would go to like have people install the two banners.
Okay. They didn't do what
They
happened.
didn't put up,
No, they
yeah,
haven't put
it
the-
hasn't been fabricated.
But we haven't given them the money yet either.
Correct.
We
They
still,
have until
yeah.
June 30.
They haven't made the banner, but I think they're planning on paying it and then submitting the invoice for reimbursement.
So they're asking for another 2,500 from last year to do a temporary banner and some maintenance on the poles
Okay.
that we own, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, we've done
I mean, hopefully they're able to actually get it done this year. That would be ideal.
it. Yeah, the first time I ever met with that group about those poles was the year I started at Frostburg.
Huh, really?
It's going on 5 years.
I think at one point they were looking for advice from us for something about what we wanted on the banner,
I think they also wanted us to hang them
maybe.
and for us to coordinate with State Highway. And I was like, I'm happy to coordinate with State Highway, but just once you have the banner
Yeah,
ready,
you
then
gotta buy
we go
it
from
first.
there, yeah.
I think they wanted us to kind of choose what was on it, because the purpose of it isn't to be anything for FBPA necessarily, but for, as a welcoming
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Well, communication, that's a great thing.
Maybe, when's the next 250 meeting? Maybe we can add that to the agenda for that group.
I did add it, they
Okay.
generally like the idea if you
Alright.
guys were willing to, like, would you want it to take it out of what we have, or would we allocate additional money for them to do?
I mean, I think we're okay with allocating it, but to make sure it actually gets done.
Yeah, I think it's
They
a
can-
conversation.
Maybe they
Guidance.
can submit, whatever they pay, or whatever they have to pay to get the rest of this done.
I think their issue they're having is like, they don't know what they want it to look like. They need help with the design.
Mhm.
and-
Yeah, so we can do that.
Yeah, that's what,
To make
Contact
that. As long
Andrea
as the poles and
DePaulides.
everything and state highways on order, and Hayden.
we'll take care of that.
Yeah.
We'll-
Yeah, I
that
think
won't
one
be
of
a
the,
problem.
one of the things that they wanted, one of the banners to have Frostburg State on it and Mountain Ridge High
Yeah.
School on it.
Fun,
Tying.
Yeah, I think ideally they'd like to have a couple, or like to be able to change it out periodically
Yeah.
through the year, like during football season, put an FSU Miners thing on one side. At Christmas time, put something different, whatever.
Storybook holiday.
Yeah, storybook, yeah, something. But I think they need some help with how do we actually make the banner? How do we get it designed? Where do we buy it from? I think that's
Custom
what they need help
concepts.
from.
So, and one thing as all those things just that, put out there, if we do get to a point where we can hang a banner above Main Street, we should make it very clear that it is a city initiative and not a rentable space.
Yeah,
Because all of those things are also people that utilize space on the
Sure,
thing next to the welcome sign and things like that, just
sure.
making sure. Because it's gonna take probably closing a lane or so to actually put something up there.
That's fine. All right, next,
Okay.
dog park. They didn't get anything last year, but we talked about that. It's because they didn't ask. We typically give them. We're good with that. Frostburg Library, the integral part of Frostburg serves as a destination for a community year-round, asking for $1,000, 2 projects that these funds can support. First, the annual Summer with Our Library program and events which take place between June and August. Library needs annual support from sponsors, blah, blah, blah. Second project is revitalization of the library's underground parking garage with the installation of reading-themed art mural.
Oh, cool.
Of a reading-themed art mural. This project would include prepping the space for painting, providing an opportunity for local artists and groups. Okay. So it does say in here they asked for $4,000 for that, so it was $5,000 total. But I think we decided maybe just the $1,000.
That may be.
That might have been a mistake. You just saw the 1,000 and didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's 2 separate places. Yeah. So that would be 5,000 altogether then?
If we decided to do
Yeah.
both projects.
Right.
So this would be one where we could maybe just elect to do one. I mean, if we feel they're both worthwhile, that's fine, but if we're,
I think it would be great to have the reading themed murals inside. I think it would really, because people park there a lot, people coming to various events here, park there.
Yeah,
and so
I mean,
it'd be-
I
it
park
really-
under there just to go to OGs and
Yeah.
you know,
all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
I think it's worthwhile.
All right.
And especially, if they're hiring, we've got several muralists in town.
Wonder if we could add that as a stipulation, that we'll give you the money, but you have to use somebody from.
Local muralists, yeah, okay.
All right, that'll work. Next is Frostburg Little League. 1,000, that's an odd number.
It is.
Must be a percentage.
Where did they get that from?
So, should be.
Oh, I see, I see.
what is it?
Little League, coaching.
I mean, if they're fixing up the field.
Installing a permanent turf surface will greatly blah, blah, blah. Subtotal $14.99, $3.15 shipping, no tax, $1,814.
I mean, we usually get stuff for the fields in there too. You
Last year, they asked for 1,960. I'm not sure what it was.
I think it was a banner for the fence, or a series of banners, if I remember correctly.
It doesn't say where, like what field they want to put it on.
I would say the little field on Living Armory.
Down.
That's the
Yeah,
only one
that's
that's really.
The one where you turn up into the Parks and Rec garage?
know? Yeah, that's, yeah.
Pretty sure that's our only.
That's the
That's the only little league.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I remember years ago when I played softball, they put something like this in up at Lions.
They don't mind us. And Dick does all the stuff on the field for him, because he does it for us at softball too. I don't,
So,
need a little more clarification
Ask-
about what they have to do here.
ask Brian. Questions on that? All right, Frostburg Museum. I think it's pretty obvious, the tourism aspect of it. They
Yeah.
asked for 10 last year, asking for 10 again this year, go towards their general operating expenses. And I'm okay with it if we want to stipulate that, hey, somebody needs to come in and advocate for it in person.
It is, I mean, it's really nice in there, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. People do really like
Bring more fudge?
I'm sure we wouldn't have to twist John Kirby's arm to ask him to go back.
Right.
To get it to talk.
Yeah.
it.
All right, next one, Summer Lunchbox Program. Volunteer-driven initiative addressing food insecurity among youth during the summer months. School-based nutrition programs are unavailable. Rising costs and reductions to federal assistance like SNAP have increased the need for local solutions, et cetera, et cetera. To address the lack of Friday meal service, Summer Lunchbox Program implemented a supplemental grocery and nutrition education program. Over 7 Fridays, 1,575 grocery bags were distributed at a cost of almost $20,000. Each bag included everything that was there. The program has received sustained community and grant support, including funding from Live United grant, et cetera, et cetera. So again, now I think we're running into the same challenge that we ran into with the Boy Scouts. It sounds like a worthwhile project, but this isn't exactly the right avenue for it.
Redirect,
To where?
if we can, I know that's,
We work with the food bank for the produce giveaways.
but the food bank itself is running into,
Oh, yeah, because we're having to pay for that now, but we did get it donated from Somerset Trust.
yeah, redirect to Somerset. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're coming to us because so many other sources are just drying up.
Well, and if I remember looking at their budget and everything, I think most of the donations they get goes towards food directly, where this is a little bit more project focused, I think, which is why they were looking to go for grant funding or funding like ours, because I think most of the donations that come in go specifically to just food for kids.
Dang.
All right,
I can
I mean,
follow.
I'm, you know, let's give them half.
Okay.
I mean, let's at least give them something.
Well, we can see if there's another pot that makes more sense too.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then we'll do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and explain that it doesn't really fit our criteria, but
But we
Right.
thought it was
We wanna
worthwhile
feature
that we want to
Yeah,
help.
we're okay with that.
And if we can find all of it, but
Yeah, sure.
let us look around. Yeah.
so 25.
And it wouldn't hurt either to ask, not that we're going to hold them to this or anything, but ask them, how many kids specifically do you think you help? In what areas? Because I know like they do some stuff at Bell Elementary School, but they also do some stuff in Mount Savage and some places. So just get information about Huffman Park. Yeah, so they do them in different places. Just if they can give us numbers about how many kids they've helped in this area, in this whatever. We're not going to use that to make our decision. But,
It'd be nice to know.
okay. Frostburg First operating account, or operating expenses.
Well, it's kind of obvious what, they're.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a pretty lengthy discussion about this last year, and I think that some of us on council did share concerns about their accessibility, right, about whether they are actually available. And I've been hearing questions, the same questions that were raised last year about, I've tried to call or stop in the office and there aren't people there whenever I need to talk to them. What exactly do they do? Not in a critical way, but like in
There won't be anybody in there till
a curious way. Like, what do these people? What do they do? Till May? Why?
she's working remotely. One of those assistants may be in and out.
Okay.
I do think they are down one staff member from where they were last
They
year.
have two and then one intern. And just for the record, just so you know, we've only had one board of directors meeting since November.
That was last month.
The rest have been canceled.
All right. So maybe we do the same thing we just said at the museum. We asked we said museum we're okay with it, but we want to have an in-person meeting with somebody to talk about some stuff.
Maybe we ask, talk about that and ask them why they're not meeting, why nobody's ever there.
Yeah.
It
So
is, I mean, I walk down by there all the time and dark in there. I just talked to the landlord the other day, he never sees them.
Yeah, the last meeting, the board president approved Deirdre to work from home due to illness for 6 months,
okay.
something like that.
So if we want to have somebody from Frostburg First come to talk, do we want to have them come to April work session, or do we want to have them just schedule a meeting with John and Patrick? And we can give them our questions. I mean,
And
it
that
kind
would
of,
be the same
because it's
thing-
either a month from now, or like they could schedule a meeting
Well,
sooner.
I mean, they can do it if,
Okay.
it might be easier to.
Is that the same for the museum and Western Maryland?
When we get to the scene, yeah, let's just do that. Let's say, we're interested in this project, we're happy with it, but because it's such a large amount, we want to have an in-person meeting with some senior staff folks to just talk about what you do. And then that way it doesn't have to wait for a work session for all 5 of us to be here.
That's it.
Let's do that.
Is Dana the other?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Next, WFWM. They asked for $1,500 last year. It's $2,000 this year. Usually, it's just their licensing fee. I think is what we pay. Or maybe that's the TV station. Includes locally originated and acquired news features from NPR, Beethoven Satellite Network, other. operates, blah, blah, blah. So I don't see a number in here.
Right. Huh.
He
Oh,
may
at
have,
the top.
there was a couple people that didn't give
Oh,
a number that said.
I was looking at the back page. I see. 2,000. Okay, so it is in there. So 2,000.
They do, as far as the tourism connection goes, they are a fairly integral part to various events that do bring in tourists, like the Appalachian Festival, the stuff at the Palace. So there's that connection. So I think that would.
They also do community matters where some people can come in and talk about what's happening in the community.
Yeah.
Sign up for
So,
it.
yeah,
So the Cultural
supporting.
Event Series might do it. The Storybook may do it. Things like that. I know you talk about some things on there.
Yeah, I'm on there frequently. I usually try and do at least every other week, go and give a report about just what's happening in government.
Which I think is great.
All right, so we're good with that.
Yeah.
Next, Appalachian Festival. Again, that's, I think, a pretty easy one, although it's a pretty substantial increase from last year. Last year was 2,500, this year it's 4,000. Do they say anything in here, Patrick, about what is the factor of the increase, or just,
I don't have the packet in front of me.
okay.
Because I gave it to you, but not that I can recall it.
Yeah, because I don't, unless I'm,
At the very end, it says that is an increase from previous year's funding. That funding would go toward covering advertising and performance stipends and would significantly assist in offsetting the cost of tent infrastructure, which doubled last year after a previous supplier retired.
And I believe we're trying to have some reenactors for like $250
oh,
at the event. this
Oh,
year as well.
cool.
Yeah.
Appalachian Festival will be one of the 250 events.
Okay. All right, so we've got
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm fine with
All
that.
right, next. FSU Center for Literary Arts, $1,500 request, which is the same as last year. In addition to other support that we receive, including from Allegheny Arts Council, I've included a list of the literary events we hosted in 2025. 1,500. I don't see it.
Oh, so that's probably part of the supporting documents. The packet in front of you are just the
Oh, it's just the
Just the
ask
letters.
letters. Got it,
Okay.
okay.
guided supporting documents.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah, they have the Indie Lit Fest in the fall, and they bring in various writers throughout the year. So, and put them up in local.
You know, we're at 142, we wanna get this down some. I mean, we're probably gonna have to,
Start cutting.
Sure.
yeah. I mean,
And technically, it's 146 if you count the library as the 5,000.
Yeah.
Right,
So, okay, yeah, that's,
we wanna give to them all, but, we're gonna have.
Well, and we still need to talk to some people, so we can for now just see which ones
Okay.
are going to
right,
be.
and I think
agree.
too, we
Some-
talked about, we're gonna try and redirect Boy Scouts, so that's 4,500. We're gonna try and redirect, we're gonna be doing half for the summer
the
lunch
summer
box,
lunch,
so that's
yeah.
25, so that's 7,000.
Talk about the Little League, maybe.
Talked about maybe the Little League, so that's another 2,000, so that's 9. Yeah, I mean, what's our target? Do we wanna try and get this to 125? So we've taken off 9,000 so far,
Down to 137.
and that's,
There's a couple questions on still down at the bottom too.
yeah, All right, so good on that. Cultural events, CES. So, pretty obvious on that one, I think, as far as bringing in folks.
Yeah.
And that might be one we just say we keep the same.
We just
way.
level fund?
Just, they're making money, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing ticketing and stuff. Yeah, so maybe we just level fund that one at 7. Okay, so that's another 1,000, so that's 10. All right. FSU TV station, they're requesting it down. I'll be darned. So this is the one where we've paid for their licensing fee, whatever federal license fee.
At one time, they used to come
And to the
and do our
meetings.
meetings and stuff. Do they do anything like that anymore?
Oh, yeah, they still do. She does transcripts and all that kind of stuff. Actually, the long transcript of the public hearing for the ordinance, the artisan ordinance, instead of having to type it all up, because so much was said, I actually borrowed the transcript from TV3, so.
I think she just gets it off of.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
we're
they
sending a
don't have
live
to
stream to them right now along with YouTube.
Okay. So, yeah, this is their streaming license for 1 year operating expense. It's $1,500, and other program expenses is $500, so that's $1,999, which is $500 less than they asked for last year. Okay.
I mean, we can always just do the 1,500.
Yeah. Let's pencil that in, and we'll see where we stand. So $1,499, so that's another $500. So that's 10.5. Next is Holiday Lamppost Committee. All volunteer group last year, et cetera, et cetera. We know what that goes to. One of the things that this group has been talking about for the whole time I've been here, and I'm sure probably longer than that with you all, is they are looking for a different place to exist. Because they're all,
Storage.
Yeah.
well, not just storage, but they're all kind of getting up there in years. And the steep, narrow steps to get down in St. Michael's basement is not ideal
that
for,
what it is now?
yeah, it's in the basement at St. Mike's.
How much space do they need?
Probably,
More than you'd think.
well, yeah, because they need space to store the stuff the rest of the year, but then like when they're getting them out for winter, they need space to, I guess.
Yeah, to work it, to
Work.
fluff
So
them
they
up
need-
and stuff, yeah.
I might have a possibility.
Well, they need something that's year round, because they need to be able to store it. Okay, okay.
I'm cleaning out some space.
I'll tell, I'll give Chris your phone number if that's all right.
That's
Tell her to call you.
fine,
Okay.
One thing that they're also working towards, and their request went up a little bit this year, and it's explained pretty well in Dr. Hoffman's letter. But one of the things they're working towards, and if you ever have any extra money to put towards this, I'm sure they would appreciate it, is getting the lights to the point where they're LED. If they get to the point with the LED, when you move them, they're like plastic, they won't break and pop like they do. Anytime you move a wreath, you almost always break a bulb. So part of what they need the space for in redoing them is replacing bulbs and all that type of stuff. It may get to the point where they have to do a lot less of that kind of work. So they would need maybe some less space for those volunteers and things like that. So the issue being is greenery changes every time they buy it, so they try to buy all the greenery at once. With LED lights, they're probably gonna try and do the same and try to buy enough for all
Do
the
them all at the same time.
wreaths. So, if we ever get a chunk of money, we say, okay, let's do this, LED lights last much longer. They'd be
Yeah.
terribly happy.
You know, they asked for 6,000 last year and 8,000. Maybe we could just meet them in the middle at 7.
Okay. I'm fine with that. So we can go to them and say, hey, listen, it's 7, but we might have a solution to you for the haunted basement. All right. Next, House and Garden Club. Same as last year. House Garden Club Frostburg, thank you for the $3,000 appropriation. Use of funds. After complete assessment of replacement baskets needed, we determined that we could purchase a large number of baskets in 26 and rolled over some of 25's award, which comes in July, to cover the cost and increase the number of baskets. Or the increase in numbers of baskets.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. 3,000, it's the same as what we gave them last year.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
They're putting up 10 new baskets, they're working with us
Good.
to identify which ones need a replacement.
Are they able to identify 10 more volunteers? Because I know that's usually what they have a problem with, is like they've got however many baskets, they have 150 and like 4 people that take care of all of them.
Are you putting on 10 new poles, or?
No, replacing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is 12. Yeah, so.
So they're not additional, they're just.
I think there are a couple additional, but the majority of them are
Okay.
replacements.
Okay. All
They
right.
do have a couple some new people, so that's nice, yeah. They're not doing the baskets down at the depot anymore. Anyways, so same amount.
Yeah. So wait a minute, I forgot to add the 1,000 from that, so we're at 11 and a half now that we've knocked off. This next one is Iron Mountain Roller Derby. This is a
And
new
that's
one.
for the Allegheny County Fairgrounds.
Okay.
So the roller derby, they called and asked about this. I told them that I wasn't sure that it would be considered, but they're more than welcome to put something in.
Uh-huh.
It is based, the derby itself is, or the team is based out of Frostburg. I think they practice in the Armory.
Okay.
They want to host a bigger event to get more people involved. There's just nowhere in Frostburg they can do it. They want to do it down there. I think the hope was that it would get more people to eventually join their team here at the Armory, but the event itself would be out of Frostburg area.
Okay.
So that was the conversation we had. I told them I wasn't sure if it was going to be considered, but couldn't hurt to put something in. So.
Okay. We might need to ask some more questions about this one.
I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Okay.
And the problem with some of this stuff is once you start approving everything, then next year you get 10 more
Yeah.
people asking.
Yeah. All right, so if we say no on that one, that gets us to 13.9. Next one is Mountain Maryland Trails. On behalf of Mountain Maryland Trail Board of Directors, requesting revenue share from City of Frostburg for $5,000,
Same as
which
last
is
year.
the same as last year. Yeah. So I think this is all of their
Now, is
expenses.
this part of the gap? Are they- is that-
Stewards of the Gap.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, both publications, Trail Town brochure and a trail guide, both publications are critical resources to promotion of the city of Frostburg and local business community who plan trips along the Gap and connect to the C&O Canal. Expanded the Trail Ambassador Program, etc. Maintenance and development along with the county for updated signage and a new ditching bucket. Whatever that means.
Oh, Mount Maryland Trail.
A lot of people come up with that.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
And that's-
Huge,
that's
huge.
a no-brainer, too.
Okay. Next one, Palace Theater.
This is increasing last year's one.
Yeah, this is, they had 5,000 last year, at 70, they're asking for 75 this year. Big news is that the Palace Theater has a new roof.
Yeah,
Uh,
And I've heard a lot of complaints about,
the new
really, about the roof?
not the roof, the people that did it.
Oh, yeah, I
Nails
did
that
too.
are all over the place back there.
Yeah, and like the dumpster was sticking halfway out the road, you couldn't get up Mechanic Street, I did too.
I mean, so it was nothing against the Palace people, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then keep in mind, like, we've given them a lot of money over the past couple of years
Yeah.
for stuff.
Brought over 2,600 people to the Palace for movies, etc. I mean, do we just flat fund this one? Do we say 5?
5. Yeah, let's go with, what we did last year.
Yeah. Okay. So that gets us to 16.4. All right, 2 more. Savage Mountain Punk Fest. This was 2,000 last year, it's 2,500 this year. I think we've been pretty standard with just flat funding stuff. Yeah, so we'll say 2,000 for that. So that gets us to 16.9. And then railroad, 20,000, that's flat funding.
I'm just gonna say something, and I'm not trying to be mean about this, but there was a significant decrease in the number of people uptown last year from the railroad. Significant. And I don't know what the reasoning was, but you go and talk to a lot of the business owners, and they're gonna tell you exactly the same thing. And
Did they make their way overtime shorter or something?
I don't know what they did, but like the hard part I have about giving them money is they sit there and they brag about all this money they make for the Christmas train,
Yeah.
and it's like, but you're asking us to cover, like, what do you? And they're making tons of money on refurbishing trains for other people,
And they get tons of state grants
Yeah.
too.
and I'd like to have a little more information.
So we'll do, or if we do the same thing we did with the other two, with Frostburg First and with the museum, to ask them for an in-person meeting.
Because a lot of these organizations are nonprofits. And WMSR, I don't know what it's registered as,
I assume it's.
It's probably
Not for profit.
yeah,
but
but it's, yeah, I don't know. I've had, and I used to have Bob these questions too. I mean, sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you wouldn't, but it just, I don't know.
Get Bob to come in and talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
so ask them to present.
So, just to go back down through the list, very quickly, we've got tons of stuff left on the agenda. Arts Council, we said yes. Thrasher Carriage Museum, we said we're gonna ask for more info. So, leave that number in there for now, but we're gonna ask for more info. Appalachian Lab, yes.
I mean, the one thing about that though, you know, I mean, if they're doing, you know, what are they doing to the Thrasher Carriage Museum, you know? I mean,
costs them.
are they
That's
opening it back
a
up?
good
I mean,
point.
is that, you
I
know?
mean, if we gave them 5,000 last year,
Right,
what
What did they do with it?
do with it?
Yeah.
right.
Operating costs for the year. So, yeah. So Mike Fetro is who we need to talk to for that. So we'll ask for a meeting with him too.
They maintained their video system and they cleaned the bathroom.
Yeah, we tell them if they want the money, you're gonna have to clean the bathrooms, like.
Oh, yeah.
The new one?
Couple of the new bathroom. That's a good idea. All right, so Arts Council, yes. Thrasher Museum, we're gonna ask for a meeting. Appalachian Lab, yes. Aryan Band, yes. Boy Scouts, we're gonna try and redirect them. Literature Center, yes. Classy Chassis, yes. Derby Day, yes. FBP, yes. Dog Park, yes. Library, yes. That was one, if we still have a place where we need to cut, they had 2 projects. So if
Yeah.
we wanted to just do one, we could do that. So just put a star beside that. Little League, we're gonna try and redirect them through Brian. Museum, yes, with a meeting. Summer Lunchbox Program, half. Frostburg First, yes, and we want a meeting. WFWM, yes. Appalachian Fest, yes. Center for Literary Art, yes. Cultural Event Series, flat funded. FSU TV, 1,500. Lamppost Committee, 7,000. House and Garden Club, yes. Iron Mountain Roller Derby, no. Mountain Maryland Trail, yes. Palace Theater, 5,000. Savage Mountain Punk Art, 2,000. Scenic Railroad, yes, with the meeting. My math says that was 16,900 that we took off of there.
We
So
need
that,
to take off 21.
and we need to take off 21 to get to our goal of 125. So we need to come up with another 4,000 somewhere.
Nina, do you remember in the past, like with Frostburg First, I feel like we cut that back like 5,000 at one time.
One time we gave Frostburg First like $50,000
Right.
a year.
So I think last year was cut down 5 or 10 from the year before.
But I think that was by their request.
I'm not
If
sure.
I'm
I'm
not
sure
mistaken,
what
I think
mine was.
one year they requested less,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not sure why. But another thing with Frostburg First is they used to have, they had the Pig Out in the Park, which was a big fundraiser when it first started, and they've kind of let that go by the wayside.
Uh-huh.
Because you can't actually eat the barbecue.
Yeah, like who has barbecue fest where you can't get barbecue? But no, it's basically just gone away at this point.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they're.
All right, so for each of the 4 that we've requested meetings with, the Thrasher Museum, the Frostburg Museum, the Frostburg First, and the Railroad, we'll just hand that over to Patrick and anyone else on senior staff
And then
that's
we might
relevant for
get
that.
back to that 21,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can ask for meetings with them, and if any of the 5 of us have questions, just send them to Patrick and you can facilitate that.
Yeah, and please send me by the end of the week, we'll start getting meetings for the next week.
Perfect. All right, so we're most of the way there on that. All right, back to this. Draft fee schedule. This is item 2I.
So John, I want you go first, I think. Yep. We're gonna skip over water for now. You do it.
Talking to staff, we proposed the rental fee changes for you to take a look at. Over the course of, 5 years, we're looking at just a small increase each year. And once we got to around $56 a unit, all pay, it would cover $100,000 of the code enforcement budget. Time to be self-sufficient at that point.
65.
56. $56 would.
I'm gonna recuse myself from this discussion.
So I know one of the
We
things.
haven't, I'm sorry, we have, no changes have been made to the actual rental fee according to the staff members prior to me since 2014.
Last year, there were changes to the late fees, I believe.
The penalty.
Yeah, but not the initial rental fee of $40.
Take a look at it, make suggestions. We're just
So
proposing.
you said you want, in order to get code enforcement to be self-sufficient,
If you go to $56 a unit, code enforcement would be salary, and for, say, the software in that budget would be self-sufficient. There's a couple other items in that budget that is, like, we got construction inspections is $20,000 in that budget. But that is, we take the construction company's money and then we pay it out to the inspector. So
I
it's
don't-
really,
Go pass through.
I don't think it's completely fair to put code enforcement, as far as the budget, totally on rental inspections, because he does stuff in addition. Like, that's not the only thing Jay does.
correct, I was
I
just
mean, he
using that as
does,
an example.
you know,
Like,
nuisance complaints and other things that don't have to do with rental inspections.
And the 65 doesn't come into effect until 2030.
Correct, it's just, we just propose small increases, you can make it whatever or nothing at all. That was just something to take a look at.
I mean, everything's going up. I'm not opposed to a small increase, but like I said, I don't think that we should put that department 100% on the backs of landlords, because Jay does stuff in addition to rentals.
40. When we look at comps, it's like 75 or 80 down east, not here, is what was given to me. So, just a suggestion, and it, just using the code enforcement budget as an example,
Yeah,
that's
sure,
where
sure,
you
sure.
would get to financially each year. It go up, fiscal year 27 would be 99,000 put towards the budget. We'll just use it in that sense. And there can be other things tweaked to it if you have multiple units. You might be able to adjust it.
Like work a discount or something.
Yeah. If it's paid. We just have to have a starting point if you just want to look at an increase because.
I mean, if there hasn't been an increase in that much time, I would say our expenses, I'm sure, have gone up significantly since then. I'm fine with it, at least 1 year. Obviously, we're not going to commit to more than 1 year in the future, but I'm okay with that.
What is it in Cumberland?
I think they charge a little less, but charge per inspection, a good bit per inspection, that makes up the difference.
So yeah, this
We could meet, we could meet in the middle. You know, I mean, the 48,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Do something for this year. Yeah, 40, 48 maybe, 47, 48. And then we'll see about 28, 29, then we'll see. Whoever's in charge then can.
And if you want to do something for multi-units, let me know.
Okay.
Like, somebody has a ton of them, so we can build it in.
All right.
So more on this.
The next part, the blue is Medco inspection increase in their inspection fees. Just got this from Cliff yesterday. I do not believe they've increased their inspection fees for quite some time in research. However, Medco is the only game in town to do it.
What is Medco?
Is there a way with it, I guess, like I didn't want to talk about the other one because of my rentals, but with this, is there a way that we could just put in there that the fee is whatever the
Whatever Metro
third-party
charges.
charges? Instead of having to go back all the time and,
I mean, I think we technically could. I would be concerned about
We,
that.
oh, you mean the verbiage of it? Yeah, I mean.
just like not even put a fee in there, it's just like.
So with that being said, what we did find if you look at 5331 on the budget, that we facilitate paying the inspection company.
Oh, okay.
So
We just
we-
act as the go-between.
We write the check, well, it's fine, we can write that, but what we did, we write the checks, we mail the payments, we check all the paperwork, finance does a lot with it. We added some money to it for us
Oh,
facilitating
okay,
it,
okay.
is what is in the yellow.
And this is relatively standard practice from other areas we've seen, so.
So the first two, speaking with staff, this is what other jurisdictions do. If you look at a single-family dwelling building permit, like Allegheny County, Garrett County, Somerset, Hampshire, they charge $150 plus 5 cents a square foot, finished or unfinished. For example, at Pritchard's Farms, the building permit would go from $75 to $213.85 because it's 1,277 square foot house.
Okay.
And Jamie, they put significant time, the city put significant time into getting this stuff
Oh, it's
permitted.
10 cents, so like $10.
No, 10 cents.
Well, yeah.
And this is all pretty common practice across the board, across the state. That's what everybody's doing. Some places do a dollar amount, but not everybody's truthful on their dollar amount, so you really,
So a dollar amount of the construction.
Yeah.
So
I
if they
see.
say it's a cheaper construction, then they get the same.
So the way that we have figured it is to just anticipate what Medco's cost is going to be and to add whatever we think our administrative thing is.
yeah.
That's
So
how we calculate it?
Medco's cost is the actual in the blue.
Okay.
We added $10 for
Right.
administrative
I
fee.
understand.
It can be less, but we do have skin in the game
Yeah.
taken care
No,
of.
I think that's fine. Yeah. $10 for the city's processing time and to pay Jamie to do whatever and to mail it. I mean, it probably costs $1 to mail it, so.
74 cents.
So as you look through that, that'll all mirror itself on down through in that right column. We can make any adjustments to it you want. We just took recommendations from, or comps from other areas, what other areas building permits are.
So everything is just whatever Medco is plus $10.
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
Unless it's something that has a square footage concept,
yeah, if it has a square footing.
5 cents a square foot.
Okay.
Now, again, with Medco, he's the only game in town, so we
Like
can't-
it or not, we're kind of
Yeah,
stuck.
we can't do nothing about that.
Okay.
Due to the lack of building, he's the only one that stays afloat.
Okay.
And
I see.
then-
Oh, and some of the fees are actually less than $10, so. Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
And our fees, I think, even with these increases, are still very reasonable compared to other areas.
Okay.
so please ship feedback over on the multi-units and different things for the rentals and that fee schedule.
All right.
So the next fee is water rates, and I will pass it on to Amy first, and then I'll go in.
You really don't have to. So it's my understanding that, we go through this very long, complex calculation, series of spreadsheets to come up with the new rate we charge the county and, our other customers. And then we go to the county to negotiate, I guess. So this wasn't done, it's supposed to be done every 3 years. It was last done in 2020 or 2021. So we skipped
We're
a
way
session.
overdue.
Yeah. So the increase that we calculated is based on, the verbiage in how we're supposed to do it says to use your last audited financial statements, and the audit isn't quite complete yet for 25, so we used 24's numbers, which we talked today might be a better set of numbers because Coney would have been on our water for 2025, so
Okay.
they might have been skewed.
More importantly, the drought was happening, so
Yes.
that was one of the more expensive years, so if we use that, we may be
Over.
over.
Okay.
Yeah, compensating.
That's fine.
So the bottom line is, the new county rate that we are projecting would be $4.24, which is a 15% increase over where it is now at, I believe, $3.97.
What about the in-town rate?
717, it was
Six.
22, 628.
That's what I'm actually pulling right now.
I should know that off the top of my head.
So
It's
the-
6 something.
The under 50,000 inside city rate was 621.
And I
So
don't recall what that percentage.
it's still a significant jump.
Yeah. What's the percentage of that? You said the other one was 15%.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's not the right one. 6, what was it?
621.
21?
So 15.4589%.
So it's also 15. So, yeah, round it off to make sure that the city rate and the county rate are
Mhm.
identical, but or as close as you can get. Okay.
And of course, we still need to talk to the county and whatnot, go through that whole process.
One of the other things with this concept of using this equation, May of 2028, so next time we go to look at budgets, the larger portion of the dam debt that we have water surcharge for will be falling off. So of that $4 or so that goes toward debt,
It's actually over 5.
over 5 something,
Yeah.
$3 or $4 will become available because that debt will be going away. So at that point, if we look to completely restructure how we do water rates and surcharges, we would actually, the county agrees, we would throw this equation concept out and restructure it, come up with a new one and start fresh. So we may actually be looking at rates with the county as early as next year, if not the year after, instead of waiting 3 years.
It's something for, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows it, but for the public, the inside water rates are higher because we are taking care of the water lines in the city. The county takes care of them outside the city.
And they charge their customers for
Right,
it,
the
and they
customers.
charge them more than we charge our in-town customers.
So we sell in bulk to the county, which is what that rate is.
Mhm.
But the people that have our own county water, their bills are higher. Their surcharges are $100 or so, or something like that, I think, in some areas, or $80, and ours are total like
40.
Yeah, $12.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay. All right. So is this something we need to, this is just all part of the draft budget? We're not approving this next month?
it'll get sent down to the county. We'll have a conversation,
Okay.
and if they come back with any changes or anything, we'll let you know at the next work session.
Okay. All right. Other stuff under fees?
I don't think so. Such a good check, I'm not sure. No.
Aren't there normally facility rental fees and?
So we did
That's
those.
what we're
so-
We have to-
Oh, so I'm sorry, there is one thing. The day camp currently charges, was it $25 a day? They're looking at bumping it up to $1. So instead of 125 for the week, it'd be 130. That's the only other fee. Other than that, the buildings and stuff are just updated, so those types of things are already done. Hey, do we even have any other water installation fees or anything? Yeah, everything, all that would stay the same. So.
Okay. Are we good on that? Back to the agenda, item 2J, solar energy credits. Is this the one you were telling me? This is
Yeah, so,
really good one, actually.
So, we have a contract for free money. This is an example of one of them. We sent them to Michael to look over, just to make sure, but, there is, a solar company, that approached us. From what I understand, the way it works is they actually received some funding to put a solar array up. And I think as part of their grant and their reason for getting the money, they have to give energy credits to local municipalities or nonprofits or something like that, and have to give out a certain percentage of the energy that they're kind of getting back. So they approached us and basically asked us if we wanted to be a part of the program. If so, we would get energy credits and hopefully save, I think it was like $15,000.
15,000, yep.
Just from solar credits that are offered to municipalities. So,
Perfect.
want to look through the contract to make sure there's nothing sneaky in there, because that free money does sound a little weird, but it also.
I mean, there are a number of community solar
That do that.
projects around. Since when?
It just sort of, the potential, the downside to this is that if you get on with this company, you lose the potential for making an agreement with another company.
And that's why we want to look through the contract
Yeah.
before we sign on.
If you only have so many solar credits you can give, So if we promise all of ours to this company and they're giving us X amount of dollars in return, another company could come down the road and say, hey, we've got Y amount of dollars to give you in return. Oh, sorry, your credit's already accounted for. So that's kind of one of the downsides to this. Not necessarily a downside, but
Right, it's just the gamble.
But do make, get,
And we're gonna.
you might actually, so that the lawyer in somewhere downstate that we were using for Optimize Renewables, he's, his specialty's energy stuff.
Yep.
So you might want to contact him.
definitely.
Yeah, we're looking into it. We're hoping to have it all squared away by council meeting. If not, we'll
Yeah.
do that. If we don't sign on soon,
Because it
the option
confuses
may
me.
go away.
I'm confused.
Yeah, that's
All right. So Michael's looking into that, potentially have the Optimize folks look into it too.
Not Optimize, the lawyer.
The lawyer for you,
Yeah,
yes,
That
I'm
we have
sorry,
on
yes, yes,
retainer,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
But at surface level, it all sounds good.
Sure. All right, anything else on that? Moving into item 3, sidewalks at the street school.
Let me take this one.
Yeah.
So it would have been about 2 years ago. We had a conversation with Brandon Reese about, or Western Maryland Construction Solutions, about the Hill Street project. He asked us for a potential tax incentive or tax break on some of the work at Hill Street School. And at that time, we kind of countered and said, how about instead of doing that, we kick in towards some of the public infrastructure, i.e. the sidewalk. When that sidewalk was completed, we would kick in a percentage or $25,000, whichever was lower, or whenever you hit $25,000. That sidewalk is now done, except for a small portion that won't happen until the rest is paved. It did come out to a little over 20. The percentage would have been higher than $25,000, so we would look at $25,000 in contributions. Not 100% of it is done, as I mentioned, so I wouldn't recommend cutting loose the full $25,000. I would keep a little bit in retainage, just to make sure that hold their feet to the fire, that they finish the punch list that I have for them.
What still
But-
needs to be done?
There's a couple of asphalt patches that won't happen until the asphalt plants open up. And then there's where they still have to pave their parking lot, the nose down curb has to be done, so it's
Okay.
5% of the work. Yeah. But it would be my recommendation that most of the sidewalk is done and complete. So,
Yeah, good.
All right. Do you have an idea when the asphalt plants are? They're just curious.
if it stays this warm, they'll open next week.
Good.
I think it's supposed to be like high of 20 years.
Usually first.
Yeah. Thursday, it's supposed to be, yeah, but then it goes back up.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, it'll be April. But.
All right. All right, sort of related to that is item 3B, Pritchard Building sidewalk.
Yep. So within that same vein, at about the same time, we were asked to, by the same company, to kick in towards the Pritchard Building project. And we kind of said, we're not doing anything until Hill Street is done. Hill Street is done, and he has since come back and asked for, of course, some kind of contribution towards the Pritchard Building itself. Kind of what we talked about, to make a long story short for council, is that to make his building project work, part of it would be a sidewalk down the alley of Pritchard, and we had sort of handshake agreement said we'll look at kicking in towards it once we get there. We are now there. He is
Is
wanting
there
to.
room for a sidewalk? Because, I mean, cars go through there.
Yeah, and we also, at the end of the day,
This years ago, there's
yeah.
We measured it the other day. There's
It's not a
plenty
full
of room.
4-foot sidewalk, but it's enough that it's ADA compliant.
But kind of actually what we wanted to talk to you all about was we do have the option to close that alley. If that is something.
Now, you're gonna get a lot of crap
Yeah,
if you try to do that.
They had that in the past.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Well,
It's very unsafe at the other end, and I agree.
Oh,
with
it
you
is,
guys,
yeah,
but
yeah, you
it's-
can't see it, you can't see it.
So many people showed up to.
okay, well, so then we can
Because
just take
people
that.
who live on Welch, you know,
Right.
that's
Well,
where.
That's just a small component of the conversation. The majority of the conversation is, okay, keep the sidewalk open, or keep the alley open, put the sidewalk in there. Part of this is that they went to the George Board, asked for a sum of money to get their funding gap closed. George Board said, we'll give you 60% of what you asked for, but we want to see that Frostburg has skin in the game. We would like to see Frostburg kick in some money towards it. That's when they came to us, asked for money towards the sidewalk, and we said, you know, we could look at some money.
Sidewalk, that's public infrastructure.
Correct. I think the number thrown around at that time was about $40,000. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
Is it gonna go the whole way or just down to the door?
We would do, if we're gonna kick in towards it, my thought was the whole way.
The whole length?
Yeah, it should be the whole way,
And
yeah.
part of the thing too is that would lead us, that would actually have a sidewalk that goes
Yeah.
towards the back, towards the public parking as well.
And,
Um,
I mean, that alley probably wouldn't be a bad one to consider paving, 'cause it's,
Oh, it's really bad.
While we're in there working anyway.
yeah.
So I told Brandon Reese, of course, the owner of WMCS, he's welcome to come in and talk to you all about this if he wants to make a presentation. But at this point, it's us, the staff, talking to you all about it, gauging your willingness to do that, and then we go from there. This is more to put it on your radar and say, hey, this conversation's come up again, let's talk about it. So,
And from my understanding, the conversation was that originally that Brandon came and asked for money to match the George Edwards Fund, and council at the time said, well, let's make the sidewalk, because that's something that is public infrastructure.
So even if he doesn't follow through on the rest of his building, at least we'll
We'll
get
have
some
the
sidewalk.
Somebody's been in there working.
oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually supposed to meet them next week to look at sewer taps.
His funding gap's very minimal, so.
Huh? Okay.
So while just because it was mentioned about the alley being dangerous, and I am positive that this has been discussed a million times before, but is there anything else we can look at, Chief, to do at the end of that alley to increase visibility? I know there's like a big convex mirror down there that makes it a little easier. Is there anything else we can look at with more mirrors
Somebody
or
ran
something?
into that mirror.
Oh, they did?
I don't know, yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, it's still there, but it's.
Is there anything we could look at either through grants or if it's something that we could just fund, invest in to increase visibility at that intersection? Because it is really dangerous.
Yes,
Make the
sir.
corners of the buildings transparent.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And you don't have to answer that now, but just.
Sure, yeah,
I'll
thank
look
you,
at-
Mayor. Yep. I'll be glad to look into it and explore some options.
You could put, well, I mean, I don't know that you want stop, but you put stop signs on the street.
Yeah.
On Mechanics, or on
that-
First
that
Street.
people have to stop both
Yeah.
ways
So
right
we
there.
make it a three-way
We could do
stop.
that.
Yeah.
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 That's gonna
That
be a
might be
simple
good, yeah.
solution. And
That's
actually, we
not
could
bad.
paint out crosswalks too, that crosswalks, not necessarily that they're crossing the street there, but it does slow traffic down.
Yeah, at least a white stop line.
Well, especially with the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we'll look at that.
Cool.
All right, update on Diamond Building, 3C.
We talked about this last time. The Diamond Building is looking for some funding to make it through till next year because their funding package and come through like they're hoping. They missed out on the grants, and the total was almost $30,000, $25,000.
Just 22.
Yeah, it was a good bit. So, I just wanted to update everybody and let you all know that they did look into reducing the cost of their insurance and finding some ways to try to make that a smaller number. It doesn't necessarily just get it down to the point where it would be like a tax forgiveness or something like that, so it'd still be some contributions, but they are trying to hold on and would appreciate any help from mayor and council. I don't know if a reduced price would change your mind about what it was, but I told them I would bring it to you all and make sure you discussed it. So.
We can get into that business.
There's another one that you'll have every property owner in town asking.
Exactly.
And like I said, I just told them I'd continue having the conversation. I would very much like to see the company stay and continue to work on the building because they've made so much progress so far, but there's always so much more.
We're not the bank. We can't help with that as much as we'd like to. All right, next, item 3D, the take-home vehicle policy.
So this was just brought up at the last meeting. You had mentioned someone being in Pennsylvania. With
Yeah, so I just had a comment from the public. Somebody mentioned that they saw one of our police cruisers in Hindman, wanted me to ask about it. What was it doing there? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? The chief and Patrick have looked into it.
So as of right now, our take-home vehicle policy doesn't really have a radius with it. It was just a take-home vehicle policy. With that said, nobody has a take-home vehicle policy that's really outside 20, I think 25 miles might be the widest it is right now, which would be honestly a radius we would probably look at. So the individual was in Pennsylvania because he lives there, but it's about 19 miles away, so it's still within 20 miles of here. So the question would be just, and something to think about, do we want to put a specific radius on it? Is there something about in-state, it used to be inside city limits, inside the county, inside the tri-state area, things like that. So as of right now, luckily everybody's been kind of living close, and we've had conversations about if somebody were to need a vehicle that was, lives in Hagerstown, like, do we supply them one? stuff like that. So at some point, we can make a change to that policy if it needs to. But the individual wasn't joyriding, they were headed home.
So that was taken care of. I will just say personally, I'm not in love with the idea of vehicles, city vehicles, not just police, whatever, leaving the state for I mean, if they're on business or something, that's one thing. I'm not in love with the idea of them leaving the state of Maryland, but I'm not willing to die on that hill either, so whatever.
You know, I think the problem we run into is we're trying to get policemen.
Right.
And you have to have some type of for instance, if you go down through Old Eckerd, there's a Washington County
seen it,
police
yeah.
car that they allow them to go all the way from Washington County there, which I would think would be a little over. But my suggestion would be a 20 or a 25 mile radius that you can't go out of.
And if you do anything bigger than about 5 miles, you're gonna wind up in another state, so.
Yeah. And I mean, 25 miles is a long distance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hell, almost to Somerset. I mean, that's a pretty long way.
Yeah, and it takes you pretty far on the inside of Cumberland as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we looked at it, it takes you probably not quite to Flintstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the far side of Cumberland.
Yeah.
I would say, sorry.
No, no,
I mean,
please.
you can always make an exception to, if
Sure.
you wanna hire somebody that lives right on the other side of Flintstone, you know.
Well, it's funny, I just did an appraisal for a state trooper who lives on Williams Road right outside of Cumberland and works in Prince George's County. I mean, that's,
There's a bunch of them.
Well, that's something odd that the state police do. If you get promoted and you live in Allegheny County and work at the LaVale Barrack, they send you down the road, and the guy down the road gets promoted, and they send him up here. So they're passing each other at 90 mile an hour, going back and forth to their jobs.
You know it's
One of my
90
best
miles an
friend's
hour.
fathers was a state trooper who patrolled up here, he lived in Columbia, Maryland.
And to be clear too, I mean, this is not, this policy, this is not strictly applicable to police vehicles. It's mostly applicable to police
Yeah.
vehicles, but there's guys in the street department that take a truck home, like you take a truck home.
Water department.
Water department, yeah, so, like I said, I'm still, I mean, just from a look wise, just from us, like, talking to constituents, I'm not in love with the idea of cars going out of state. But, if, I'm not gonna
She
die
had
on that
something
hill
to say.
either.
Oh, yes, ma'am. No, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. No, I would just note maybe to somewhat alleviate the, the concern of the person who spoke with you or whatnot. I do agree fully with Commissioner Grove and yourselves that there should be a limitation to it, and the only question is what that is. But we do have a written take-home vehicle policy that was adopted about 3 years ago. I believe the city government as a whole has one for essentially civilian employee vehicles, and we have one specifically for police vehicles. It does prohibit joyriding. It basically allows more or less free use of the vehicle in the city limits because of the increased availability and police presence. Outside of the city limits, you're essentially allowed to go to and from work, and you're allowed to take minor detours, like if you want to stop at the market or something on your way home. But outside of that, say you live in Cumberland, you're not allowed when you're off duty just to drive up to Walmart and drive home. That's prohibited by our policy. So it has balance, I think, the city's benefit and the employees' benefit to that. And it's pretty common around Maryland to have take-home vehicle policies. They're all slightly different. Around 25 miles does seem to be a very common radius that departments put. And also some departments do prohibit it going out of state and some don't. That varies by department. So I think there's good precedent for both. But I don't think we looked that up preliminarily. Commissioner Grove and I talked about it. We were, and Mr. O'Brien, we were thinking 20 or 25 miles. And at a glance, that seems to be pretty common across Maryland. So I think your fellow elected officials and staff members throughout the state probably think similarly there.
Okay.
And I think when you talk about being out of state here, remember,
Oh, I
you
know.
can almost throw a rock
Oh, I
from
know.
West Virginia to Pennsylvania
I know.
where we're located.
I get it.
You know,
I did have a 25-mile map put into the packet, but apparently it was the reason that the packet wasn't being generated the other day because it was a huge amount of gigabytes or something. So I can send you a picture of the picture in lower resolution.
That's fine. All right. So next, this one is Chief also. Promotions in the police department.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, again, so I spoke to Commissioner Grove and Mr. O'Brien. We would like this year to do some promotions. Some have already been approved to fill slots really that were not filled before. So we've had one promotion approved for a sergeant as of yesterday, and 2 just based on tenure to Patrol Officer First Class, or PFC. The next step we'd like to do is promote corporals. I think we have potentially authorization or availability for 1 slot, and the question is, should we make 2 corporals or 1? And it's largely a financial question because of the kind of guidelines we have for salary as to whether we can support that financially and whether you would approve that.
And so, and we're still looking into the cost and some of that type of thing, but it will be a search process. An
Yes,
internal
sir.
Search process. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure, yep. We've done promotions differently at different times. In the past, sometimes we've used outside interview panels, and then we switched to internal interview panels. Other times, there's been one candidate who's just highly qualified, effectively doing the role, and no real pool of applicants. So sometimes we've just sort of informally spoken with them and authorized those promotions. So I think there would probably anticipate maybe 5 or so applicants for the position of corporal. So we would expect an interview panel, resume, interview panel, and assessment committee to get together and make a recommendation on that.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Item 3F, the dam keeper.
Yeah, have you been brought up to speed on this, guys? You were our dam keeper, Mark Garlitz, told me, I guess about a month ago, that he wants to retire. And I told council that an option that's on the table, we should just put that on my plate. I'm not arrogant enough to say that I would, benefit from that, but at the same time, it would save the city money. That's the long and the short of last month's meeting. Then I just said, think about it, let me know, and then this one was about questions. If anyone had questions, I'm happy to answer about logistics and engineering and X's and O's and things like that.
Or if you want any more specific information for us to get before we start to have like a more serious conversation.
Yeah.
And he's not living up there right now.
Correct. He's at his place in Midlothian with his wife. Right. Yeah. Now he goes up twice a day. But.
And if there's a major event, there's a house there for him to stay in.
Correct.
And you want to talk who would, fill in your shoes when you're on vacation? Or
Yeah, I actually had a couple conversations today and yesterday about it. So, talked to MES about it and said in the instance that I am gone, if I were in the role, correct, and I am gone, MES said really nothing changes for them. They would still do their daily checks. That includes the weekends as well.
Do they go up in person, David?
Yeah. Just because they have the columns there, and it's part of their report process that they inspected each water source and things like that. So they were still happy with that. They said, yeah, really nothing would change. They said if you went on vacation for a month at a time, that we might have to have a conversation. But other than that, it would just be business as usual. One of the things we were concerned about was for large-scale rain events. Historically, it has always been the engineer's responsibility to do the inspections of the dam as it's happening, because my name is on the emergency action plan for that, which was part of why I thought it made sense just to be up there already. However, if I'm gone, and we've windowed it down to 1 person instead of 2, obviously someone has to stand in for that. And I actually had a phone call today with the Maryland Department of the Environment Dam Safety Division local rep, Bill Ashby, and asked him what that would look like. And he said, as long as you appoint, a tree of people who would do that in your place, they can do the inspections, and then you can sign off on the report after the fact. And he even said too, in the instance that you're gone and your next person's sick and the 3rd person's sick, that Maryland Department of the Environment can actually step in and do those as well. So that would cover the coverage.
So there's a fail-safe built
Correct.
into that through MDE?
Correct.
And it makes sense to do it ahead of time so that there's no question about whose responsibility it is at any time.
Do you have an idea?
Well, and it would go into a plan.
I'm sorry?
Do you have an idea who you would put in that tree?
Well, it would be me and then actually Emily, because she's on the report as a point of contact for it. And then we would have to decide who we would want number 3 to be. MDE said it could be them if we wanted it to be, or we could look at doing MES. So we have another option as well. So it would be me, Emily. We could look at one of our guys just to come up and take a look at it, or we could do MES or MDE.
Does everybody on this list have to have certain credentials in order to do that, or just you
He's-
say it's okay?
He said no as long as we approve it and that person is there and they sign off on it and says, yes, I'm Emily Weber, I checked in at 3:30. Here was the rain gauge level, here was the level in the reservoir. And then they fill it out, and then I, as the engineer, still have to come in and look at it after the fact and sign off on it and say, I, as the engineer, approve these reports and send them.
This is somebody from
We
the
would still
water.
have to train them to make sure they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't have
Department.
like a license or
No.
anything? a
They have to
professional
be an
license?
engineer.
Okay.
You could probably get somebody from the water department too, right?
Or even, or MES, since they're gonna be there
Yeah,
anyways.
so the goal would be is if we did start going past Emily and others, we'd have to add them to the report, and then also, if they're doing more work, potentially pay them overtime and things like that.
I would like to say too, the amount of times that these events happen in a year is maybe once. So, and I don't take vacations as it is. So,
And one thing too, Donnie, he wasn't asking for that raise either. You know, it's-
Oh yeah, I actually presented it as a way for the city to save money. So instead of replacing Mark, just put it on my plate.
Sure.
It helps me, obviously, with place, and then I wouldn't accept the salary, or we could put it towards other things.
They promised to cut the grass.
Yeah, yeah, I got cut
And
grass in
plow.
my own house. Yeah, and plow, which I gotta do in my own house anyways. But no, like I said, I just want it to be fully transparent, and give anyone the opportunity to ask questions they want. Like I said, it would, on paper, it would save us a ton of money, between not paying that person, and a large portion of my comp time is spent going up there after hours, so I'm already there.
Makes sense.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
And like I said, if anyone has any more questions in the meantime, please just call me.
Okay. What's our date?
Well, he wants to be done in June, like officially done, because he has some trips planned with his wife. So that would be the turnover period, but the sooner,
June 1st, June 30th?
be June 1. And then his official last date will be the end of a pay period that makes sense in June. Yeah,
Coincide with the fiscal year.
correct.
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Cool. Do you care if I do my two little discussion items? I have a surveyors meeting at 6.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah.
You did
Which
some
are
work
they?
there.
Which
Go
ones
ahead.
are they?
They're actually just really quick, two little things. The Upland Road potential recycling factory.
Ah, yeah.
Patrick and I looked at a agreement with them today that says, in the instance that we build this factory, you agree to give us your trash. There's more to it, but that's the long and the short of it. I just want to keep it on everybody's radar. Patrick and I are going to review it with Mike Cohen and then probably follow up next work session. And then one that I just felt was really important to say, the mapping that we invested in, that actually was talked about at last council meeting, really, really paid off last night. I use it every day, but last night was the first time where I said, this affected a large portion of the community. So, make a long story short, police department got a call about a potential child in a storm drain, and the police officers got with my guys and me and said, hey, there's a potential for this girl in the storm drain. We don't know where these pipes run. Can you come help us? So we went down, and I was able to just use my phone to say, if she started here, she could either be here, 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 and instead of it taking all night and potentially not knowing where she would be, we were able to knock it out in a couple hours and make sure that there was not, in fact, a child.
It ended up being a false alarm.
Correct. But, I mean, without this, we would have just been relying on, hey, Shane, can you tell me offhand where these pipes run and make sense of it in my head? And I just wanted to say that it was a worthwhile investment. I thought that was important to say. So.
I drove by Clem the other day, and they're making progress. Do you know how close they are to?
You probably know better than I do.
They are waiting on sprinkler inspection should be done, final inspection, and then the blacktop around April. So it shouldn't be far off.
Good.
When the plan opens up.
But yeah, no, I mean, if you ever thought to yourselves, man, I wish we hadn't spent $225 on mapping, it affects more than just the utilities guys. So.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys.
All right.
I'm gonna run and talk to
Yes, that's fine.
surveyors.
We are hopefully getting close to being done. Item 2G is the new uniform contract.
So, just to let everybody know, we've been working, UniFirst and Cintas about pricing. Wrapping it up, Cintas actually gave us some lower pricing. UniFirst has some pretty low pricing as well. I'm waiting for some final things from them, but it looks like either way, uniforms will be cheaper next year. because this, part of the issue Cintas had about their uniforms was, I guess our contract had them using certain brands, and they stopped carrying those brands as part of their line, but they kept getting them for us because it was in our contract, so the prices were higher. I don't know why that wasn't necessarily communicated, so, the goal is, to have, 2 contracts to show the cost difference between the two. The one, just difference between them is, Cintas is a local company, so, they're kind of in the area more, Universe isn't. I think they're trying to be here more because, of Cintas and things like that, so, I think what it's really gonna come down to, because they're both covered under Sourcewell or Omni Partners, which means we can really pick which ones we want to utilize, it's not going out to bid or anything, is which ones we feel more comfortable about, so we'll have another conversation about it, but it looks like uniforms just to get cheaper.
Very good. All right, next is tech updates.
So, don't want to get too much into this because this could be a long conversation, but we're looking at a couple of things. I think I mentioned that the website has to switch platforms because it lost the base it's built on. It lost support, so that's going to be moving over. Our phone system also is technically losing some support as far as the phone lines go. We have Cisco phones that were under the concept when you bought them, you got to kind of use them forever, so we just pay for the phone lines. Now everything, like everything else, is paid by the month. So almost every new phone that you have to get now, you pay for the line, but then you also pay a certain dollar amount for them to manage the phone. They have Teams phones and all these types of phones and things like that. We are going to ride out the Cisco phones, even if they don't have direct support. Because they work well and the phone lines work fine and we don't need any bells and whistles. Eventually that's going to cost us more money, hopefully at least 3 or 4 years. We'll see. We do have some of the last card lines that we have at the dam and things like that are actually getting phased out now too. So we're working on some of those. The one other thing that's coming up is working with Allegheny Computer Systems, computer system.
Computer service.
Thank you. We are like their last customer that has not switched from Gmail based to Outlook based. Originally, if you look at Microsoft Outlook on the surface, it's a little bit more expensive. If you actually look into it, a lot of the mailboxes that we have set up as users, so City Hall at frostworthcity.org and some other things like that, have to be actual accounts you log into. Microsoft lets you just create those and you don't pay for them. You can have 1,000 of them. So if you take that and then the fact that Excel and all that will be built into it, I think overall it's going to wind up being cheaper. More importantly, ACS would be there to service it if it was ever a problem. They'd manage it for us. They're local compared to the other ones. So we're looking into that. That switch may be coming. Wanted to give everybody a heads up for the Gmail people that are here. But it also allows, if you use online, for it to be a little bit cheaper than some of the staff that would be using the actual apps and things like that. So, but so we're hopefully actually saving some money and backing up some systems while we do this.
All right.
Like that.
Item I, we already talked about, was Knoxbox. Item 3J, the If I Were Mayor essay contest. We did it. So it's part of the requirement through MML to be certified as MML Banner City. There's a number of options you can do. I forget the exact wording on it, but one of the things you have to check off the list is you have to have community engagement with elementary school students. In years past, the city administrator would just schedule a field trip with her kids to come and do something, or something along those lines. One of the options is If I Were Mayor essay contest. So I got in touch with, the criteria are very strict. I got in touch with the 4th grade class at Frost Elementary School. They were super enthusiastic about it. They were all, whatever. They did it. It's all managed by them. So the teachers picked the winning entries. They sent them off to MML. MML will decide if they're going to move on or however, whatever they do that. So we did it. They'll be at the March Council meeting. The winners that were selected will come,
Read their essays.
have the option to read their essays if they want to. And then we gave them a free season pass to the pool.
And I can tell you, 2 years ago, we actually had a winner
Yeah, statewide.
with MML
Yeah.
that got to meet with the governor and
Nice.
everything. That
Very
was
good.
2 years ago.
Very good. All right. Item K, 76 envelopes.
These postcards I give you or 76 Unboxed is up and running. It does say beta testing at the top, just means we're the test dummies for it. They're working through all the bugs. If you know anybody that has property in the historic district, please have them go on and claim it. They can start filling out information about it, uploading pictures, so
So
forth.
give them these cards?
Yes, we got these cards out. The test, they've also been posted on Facebook, city website, I believe, also. They did a slideshow last evening for the Historic District Commission. Lane come down, they're gonna be here for the Arts Walk and community events. They're gonna schedule different things to come down and do a town hall. So it's mainly just getting the word out now. They was here on February 27th for 5 hours taking pictures of all the properties. So.
Very good. All right, last one is update from the Frostburg 250 committee.
We've met twice. I gave you guys a tentative community event schedule. Our approach was to enhance existing events or do 250 tie-ins, and then we also have a few that we added to it. A night swim, adding the trains, Stars and Stripes Gunpowder Challenge. That'll be our first event, April 19th. It'll be a competition for inline and traditional muzzleloaders and flintlock at the Frostburg shooting range, and there'll be a partnership with Big Savage Sportsman Club. So just wanted to let you know about the first event. If you guys can make any or would like to be involved in any of the events, please let me know. And we will be ordering the commemorative Betsy Ross 250 flag to be displayed on the flagpole out front underneath of the American flag. If you guys would like to be included in any of the planning meetings, also let me know. And I can send you out some more details as we get them finalized. I'm working on the website. Hope to get that up and specific names of the events. It's not going to be patriotic ice cream train.
Sure.
I
but
just want some
Friday.
patriotic ice cream.
We
That's
talked either last council meeting or I don't know, at some point in the recent past, we talked about making the hotel motel appropriation, and the foundation was going to match that appropriation. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, if the Frostburg Foundation matched our appropriation of
Okay.
$10,000.
So you have a budget of 20 to work with.
Yes, and I don't know the numbers, but I know there was a few other small number donations
Okay.
from community members.
Cool. Okay. I'm interested in other potential events August. What do you know about that?
That'll be put on by Frostburg State University. To be determined.
Good.
I don't want to put that one out.
And
No.
I budgeted for it, yeah.
Yeah. No. So we handed that over to FSU like we talked about. Perfect. Okay.
So working on the details, but they did a site visit and it's looking promising.
Perfect. They'll be good at that. All right.
Thank you.
That's everything on the agenda. Anything else, Commissioner Grove?
I did
Commissioner Forsyth?
Because we are not on the statewide election schedule, we don't have the slate of candidates registered on the state's Board of Elections thing.
Correct, because that's for a
Yeah,
primary.
right. But it would be, I think, a good idea for us to host a candidate list on our website, just so people know.
So I actually did take that to the Board of Elections, because actually I think Ms. Mears had asked about that before. Whether we should post it or not, and they initially weren't gonna make any changes. I can bring it to them again. Their concern was because everybody isn't necessarily certified yet, because the Ethics Commission hasn't reviewed their forms. They were requested to wait till they're all turned in.
Oh.
That we can say who's filed, who's turned things in. But we were concerned that people would assume that that's who's supposed to be on the ballot, and when they weren't there, there'd be a lot of confusion and things like that. So, especially them being new to this whole process, I think wanted to hold off on it. I can ask them, and we have a meeting
We
this
could
Thursday.
do like a disclaimer at the top.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah, paperwork received. They meet this Thursday?
yes, we meet this Thursday at 4:30.
Sorry, yeah, talk to them about that.
Yeah, so we'll do that, but that was the concern about it, was that it may cause more confusion because of that. And we are planning on putting a list of people up once they've been reviewed by the Ethics Commission, and that all the paperwork's kind of finalized.
When does the Ethics Commission meet?
They are not going to be able to meet, I think, till it's the 24th or the 25th, after everything's turned in.
Okay.
So it will be after the deadline, because they were waiting for all the paperwork to be turned in.
Okay.
I'll see if we can get some.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else, ma'am?
Yeah.
Commissioner Carney? Commissioner Richard?
each got a letter. I believe that they're all similar, and this is just for public knowledge. We did get an anonymous complaint about a staff member, but the individual wasn't identified, about some potential misuse of time or something like that, or funds. We're gonna look into it. I just wanted, because it was anonymous, I can't respond to somebody to say we're looking into it, so this is me telling you we're looking into it. Let's also let you know, if you have any questions about it, any concerns about it, any thoughts, please feel free to reach out to me, since you all have the same notice.
Sure. Anything else? 6:12, meeting adjourned.